Well, welcome again, those that are on the line. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to join this call. I think we have a pretty good agenda today, and we'll work through it as quickly as we can and allow for some time at the end to discuss anything that might be on your mind. As always, your participation is what makes these calls valuable, so please jump in and share openly, and we'll make sure we give everybody plenty of opportunity to share their thoughts and insights throughout the call. All right, we're going to look at some continuous improvement thoughts. So we're going to talk more about marketing referral strategies. We've, of course, got our round robin discussion, and then we'll open it up at the end. But we'll start, as always, with any wins or challenges that any of you might have had in the last week or two in your tab businesses or otherwise. Anything that you feel would be an encouragement to those, to your peers, or anything that you feel has been a great accomplishment for yourself over the last week or two. So I'll open it up for any wins that you might have had. Chris kind of already shared one for those that were on after he was talking about it. They're having an event next week on the 15th. Isn't that correct, Chris?
Sorry, I had you on mute. Yes, next Wednesday.
And you said you have 118 people registered for that event, 38 of whom are members. The others are non-tab members. And this is one of his.
By the time you get sponsors and speakers and everybody in, that I think we've got 50 some odd guests.
That's awesome.
Yeah, several of them are. Probably 12 of them, I think, are number twos from our tab members. We've got one of our members is traveling international, so his chief operating officer is attending, things like that. But that leaves us about 38 guests, of which I consider probably 25 of them certainly as being very bona fide. In fact, one of them I've already had some conversations with. And it's clear that he made 2 reservations. He's bringing his son, and it's very clear that it's a next-gen succession plan type of an opportunity. And so we've already gotten our internal assignments as to who's working on whom during the meeting. And our members are great in playing with us on that. I mean, we've got a 2-generation. The father was in tab. The son replaced him in the year 2000, and he's been a member for 18 years. And they'll both attend, and I've already talked to both of them, and they'll seek out this person and visit with them about the fact that the father originally joined tab solely for the purpose of succession, and was in tab about 4 years, and the son's been in for 18 years, and a very successful situation. So they help us recruit.
Good use of members there. So can I ask what kind of an event it is?
It's a all day. We have 5-6 speakers in, and it's at a hotel conference center type of deal. We have a lunch laid in. The mayor of Tulsa, we have a new mayor, so we had to kind of reestablish. The old mayor was an old friend of mine from back in high school days, but we've got a brand new young mayor, and one of our charter members who's been with me for, now this is 25th year, is worked with the mayor as a client. So he arranged for the new mayor to come and talk about the new vision for the city. And then we have, it's just kind of a variety of topics. We have the Commerce Bank out of Kansas City brings in their senior economist. And then we've got a insurance company in our same building called Hub International out of Chicago, and they're bringing in a cyber crimes expert of theirs who's written books on the topic to talk about members' exposure to cyber technology. We have an attorney in town who speaks regionally on, and she's just as entertaining as can be. We always put her on right after lunch because she wakes the crowd up. But she's a trust and estates attorney, and she's going to talk about litigation coming out of succession planning and projects. And she's got a lot of real horror stories that she'll offer up, kind of spur our members' thinking.
Very good, Chris.
That sounds like a really good program. So are your speakers the sponsors also?
Yeah, actually, the one who's got the most money involved is the Hub guy, but they just picked up a very lucrative insurance account out of one of our tab members. Shifted. They were having trouble with their insurance, and they ended up shifting 100% of their insurance, including their health insurance. Took it away from one of my members, but the member was understanding. In fact, I had the two members talk about it, and before it happened. So theirs is kind of a payback. They're not charging us. None of the speakers charge us anything, which. But clearly he's being sponsored by the insurance company, and our economist is sponsored by Commerce Bank. They fly them down and put them up, pay their room and everything. And then Commerce Bank also picks up the lunch, which is, I don't know, $3,500 or something like that just for the lunch. And if I wanted more sponsors, we end up paying for the room and all of the equipment and the coffee set up in the morning and things like that. And that ends up costing us, I don't know, $1,200 or $1,500 probably.
And Chris, how many years have you been doing this?
This is the 8th year.
8th year, yeah. And you said the last 4 years you've kind of made it and turned it into a bit of a recruiting exercise as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, it sounds great. Congratulations.
Thank you. I owe it to Bernie.
And we will look forward to hearing more about the output from that conference in the weeks ahead as some of those good prospects move forward and become members. Excellent. Are there any other wins that anybody would like to share? Okay, what about any challenges that you could use some input from the others on the call? Anything going on that you'd like to share that might be a challenge or an obstacle that you're facing?
Hi, Ben. This is Carlos.
Hey, Carlos. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a question for the group, and my question is: how often do you use? Well, first of all, what is the name that you use for external consultants that you bring to a tab member? There's a word you use for those, isn't it? Strategic.
Yeah, strategic alliance or strategic partner.
Yeah, strategic partners. Yes, and my question is that how often do you use those strategic partners with your tab members?
It's a good question. Anybody have any feedback on how often or how frequently you might use your strategic alliance members or strategic partners in helping or assisting your members with challenges they're facing in their business? So, Carlos, are these issues that you don't feel you could adequately serve to help your client or your member with?
Well, yes. For example, I'm working with one member who has issues with his business processes, and actually he needs to, well, first of all, understand his processes and then write them down, and then making his team adopt those processes. So I just can't work with them. I know how, but I just don't have the time to
Right.
do that. So I proposed one person that can assist my member, and actually they had a meeting today in the morning, so this person is going to make a proposal to my member, and he's going to be working, in the details of writing down the processes and all these things. He's going to work with this strategic partner of mine,
Okay.
directly. So yeah, that's why, and the same thing is happening to me with other members. Mainly in terms of processes that are not clear, or finance, or either production costs. And yeah, that's why my question.
Okay.
So, Carlos, this is Tanya. I'd have to say I don't have enough members yet to have been in this situation, but I'm a CPA by trade, and I'm very comfortable with, bringing people that I have already vetted, and I would imagine that your strategic partner is somebody you've already vetted and, you like working with and you trust. But I think it just strengthens the relationship when you do that, because just because you can't provide or don't have the ability at this time to provide that service, I'll use the word concierge, right? You're the person that makes sure you help your member, or in my case, my client, succeed. I help bring the solution to them. So I don't know if you're concerned about that, but in my experience in my business, as a CPA, that only strengthens my relationship with my clients. So I certainly wouldn't hesitate to do that with my members, because I'm sure that opportunity is going to come up as I grow with TAB. But I don't know if that was your concern, but that's just an observation from, I guess, my practice, not necessarily from TAB.
Yes, Tanya. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think your input, it's very good. Yeah, part of my concern was that. Actually, was that. So thank you very much for your input.
Any other thoughts from anyone else?
Yeah, Ben, this is Chris. I think it's the point of having vetted. I think is critically important, so that you have the confidence. But I also feel like having a conversation with them and ensuring that you have a non-aggression pact, either formalized or agreed upon, so that they're aware of what your expectations are. And one of them is that they're not going to try and steal the relationship.
Yes, you're totally right. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And yes, that's a conversation that I had with them. Absolutely, I think that's critical. And one question: what does it mean, vetted?
Make certain that you are comfortable with their knowledge base, their capability.
Yes.
So that
Right.
you can say with a assurance to your TAB member, this is a person who can help you.
Right.
And somebody also that you don't have to do 100% technical review on.
Right. Yeah. That's great. That's very important also. Very key. Thank you, Chris.
And Carlos, you
Go ahead.
can
Go,
due
Mike.
diligence to equate to vetted due diligence. If you've done your due diligence with them, so you are comfortable they are who they say they are, and so due diligence, same concept.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Carlos,
I would add,
Go, Valerie.
I would add that you like them.
Absolutely.
You don't, and that your clients will like them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Great. Great input. Thank you.
And one last thought, Carlos, from a marketing perspective with strategic partners, part of building that relationship is providing them referrals. Because if you provide them referrals, they're going to be more comfortable providing you referrals down the line. And as Chris highlighted, making sure that you've got that, as he stated, a non-aggression agreement where you're not going to steal each other's clients. You can really build some strong relationships by having those that you've researched and investigated thoroughly and feel comfortable with in your network to refer to your members. And then those partners down the road refer back to you.
Good. Good. Yeah. Thank you, Ben.
Excellent. Well, thanks for the topic, Carlos. That was a good one to work through. Why don't we move forward with our agenda and go on to a quick question that I have. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this one. I kind of added this in at the last second, but I'm considering a change to one of the owner-to-owner sprint call times. Overall, since probably the beginning of July, well, after the week of the holiday, I've seen very, very low attendance on the owner-to-owner sprint call sessions. And just a friendly reminder that part of the Next Level program agreement is that each of you would commit to at least one owner-to-owner sprint session each week. And, we've all had conversations about that and how it fits into your calendar. And so, we're working through that. But one of the principles behind the owner-to-owner sprints is that together we learn from each other. There's a shared kind of community feel when you're getting on the phone and there are others in the community doing the same thing that you're doing. It kind of stirs a little bit of camaraderie and really enhances the learning opportunity for those that are working on owner-to-owner calls. So one of the things that I'm considering doing is changing the time frame for the Tuesday sprint. Currently, it's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time, which makes it not very favorable for those in the Pacific time zone. And of course, for Valerie out in Hawaii, it's, I believe, 5 in the morning when we have that call. So, probably not going to be calling any business owners at that time frame. So I thought
4 a.m.
Yeah, 4 a.m., that's right. So I thought about shifting it to an afternoon sprint along with the same timeline that we have on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I don't know that you're going to have more or less effectiveness overall for those that are participating, from the Mountain Time Zone East. But if we did it from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, I felt like that might be a little more accommodating for those, out west and might be able to improve some of the attendance. So I just wanted to get your feedback for those that are on the call. Would that be more favorable? Would it improve your likelihood of participation on those Tuesday sprints if it were an afternoon session?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What I'll do then, I'll try to make that change for next week so that on would it be August 14th, the Tuesday sprint will be from 2 to 5, and I'll be sure to send out a notification to everybody and an updated calendar invite. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. All right, I wanted to talk just really briefly about the concept of continuous improvement from a personal perspective. There are organizational models for continuous quality improvement. Probably one of the most common, most well-known is the PDCA model, which is Plan, Do, Check, and Act, which is a standard format for how you continuously improve process and organizational effectiveness. But from a personal perspective, you can go through the same model, but really you're looking at areas in your own performance where you feel that you might be able to improve. And it's not even necessarily that you're having poor performance, but it's just an opportunity that you see to get better in a specific area. Maybe you're trying to target or reach a different customer group or expand into a different region of your territory, but you're really just trying to find opportunities to improve yourself and your business. Might be through lead generation or how you're identifying good prospects through your marketing channels. Could be, how you're converting those prospects forward through your sales process. We talk a lot about retention and keeping, the easiest way to maintain revenue is to retain current members. And so how can you become more effective in retaining those members? The marketing process, including referrals, among other things, we can always get better and we can always find ways to improve. And this is just a continuous loop of working to improve your effectiveness as a business coach, as a board facilitator, your effectiveness with the TAB tools, your ability to gain that position of trusted advisor with your current members, learning how to quickly and effectively build rapport through the prospecting process and the sales process. But there are always opportunities to get better. And many times, you all probably have heard me say this, there's 3 questions you should consistently be asking yourself as you go through the activity of your business. And that is, what went well? What didn't go well? And what could I do better next time? We're not always looking for big macro improvements. Oftentimes these are micro or very small incremental improvements that will just notch us forward a little bit in our effectiveness. And over time, those small incremental changes produce radical change over time. And so I would just encourage each of you, as you examine your own effectiveness in each of the areas of running your TAB business, where are your opportunities to get better? And how can you, invite others into that process with you? Obviously, I'm a resource for each of you to help you in those areas, but where are there other people in your circle of influence that you could invite into this improvement process for yourself? Maybe it's in how you communicate, the word choice that you use, improving your body language when you're in meetings, learning the skills of mirroring and matching in a conversation to help people feel more comfortable and to build rapport quicker. It could be in, digging into and understanding emotional motivators. It could be developing better habits to preempt prejudgment, as Phil likes to say, so that we're going into each conversation with an open and fresh mind. But it's really about, focusing on or identifying small opportunities to get better over time. And I mentioned the PDCA model. Even in a personal setting, you can do the same thing. If you identify an area that you want to improve in, maybe let's just say you want to be more effective in converting discovery meetings into scheduled RFA meetings. Identify those areas where you feel like you're missing the mark or where you could be more effective. Develop a plan for how you think you can get better. Maybe it's blocking out the script or the protocol so that you have the ability to bounce around more. Maybe it's intentionally digging into those emotional motivators and asking those questions to quantify more effectively and being more intentional about pausing through that part of the conversation. And then once you've established how you want to improve, do it. Put it into the process and begin to evaluate how effective it is. Are you converting more effectively? Are you making better connections with your prospects, building better rapport? And as you evaluate the effectiveness of the changes that you're making, make a minor adjustment here and there, take action to continue to improve and revise your plan and go and continue through the cycle. But this PDCA model of continuous improvement never ends. It's ongoing. You can always find a new area to improve and develop a plan, do the action, check the results, and adjust and act accordingly. So I would encourage you all throughout each of your days as you're doing various activities, specifically those that you want to improve on, pay attention to what went well, what could I do better, or what didn't go well, and make note of that so that we can partner in our coaching time to help you become more effective going forward. I'll pause briefly for any comments or thoughts around this idea of really being focused and intentional around your continuous improvement.
Well, Ben, this is what I love doing, so obviously going to make a comment. The only thing I would do that don't have a copy of your slide in front of them is that the plan, do, check, act, plan, do, adjust. I mean, there's plan. Anyway, there's different ways. It's called the cycle. The middle dot, below dot, I would suggest even to make it nice that dot should have the word measurement. Because in everything we do, what happens, people get into concept and they just start, they use a lot of in their head type of measurement, when in fact you do need to write it down. And if you look at the Six Sigma DMAIC model, that's what they're focused on, is that you can't improve what you don't measure. So that's where, like, the Business Navigator, any tool that you use that measures your activity, so it's not about what you feel or think, but what you're physically key that you're doing. So that's the only thing I would recommend. Plus, it's hard. You're doing something already, so you're in the model, already doing something, and so that's how I talk to businesses, is that, hey, you're already doing something called the as-is. Just capture what you're already doing, identify what the measures are that you're doing, and start the planning process. And if you do that, starting everybody always feels like they have to, that the planning process is some huge deal, and it isn't. It's just basically doing what you're already doing, being deliberate doing it. I'm off my soapbox. I also have an article on LinkedIn if you'd like to look at it. Thank you very much, Public Service Announcement.
I think we caught most of that. You were breaking up a little bit, but I think the point, one of the key points you were making was, you have to be able to measure to ensure that you're actually improving, and I think that's a great point. And then along with the idea of you're already doing, so it's not that you have to go searching for things. It's looking where you're already working and finding opportunities to get better. Deliberately.
Correct.
And the challenge, I think, is when you have to measure something that is much more qualitative, isn't it?
It can be.
Yeah, Carlos, that's a great point. But that's in the military, we use when we do campaigns. Early on, we would throw away those quantitative measures because we were like, hey, we can't measure it. It's not a thing. It's not like, but it's an effect, and so that's still used. So if you can't measure the thing, measure the effect. So if you want to identify how people feel about your company, then you ask the question, was it 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend us? So that promoter score is an effect of what you're really trying to measure, which is how much do like. Great question, but when I hear that question, I always push back and go, nope, I got an answer for you. You can measure qualitative just as easily as quantitative. You just have to do it a different way. So,
yes. I like what you said. Measure the effect. That's my key takeaway. So thanks.
Any other thoughts or ideas around this idea of continuously improving from a personal perspective, or how effective you are as a TAB business owner? Very good. Well, keep in mind, it's as Mike said, it doesn't have to be a big exhaustive exercise. Look at what you're already doing and where you want to improve. Especially those areas where you do have the ability to measure your current performance versus where you would like to be, and then begin planning intentionally and be deliberate in how you're moving forward so that you can get better. All right, I also want to talk briefly as we continue our series of marketing referral strategy review. The third topic that we're going to cover is the board meeting ask. And so what is the board meeting ask? Really, it's a poorly developed slide, first of all. I apologize for that. But the purpose of the ask is really getting your board engaged in the development of the value needed to keep the board relevant for your members. It's finding out who your members feel would be good to bring into the boardroom so that they can have the right mix and feel comfortable that the right people are in the room. And oftentimes I hear TBOs who just go about trying to find prospects wherever they can shake them out of the bushes, so to speak, instead of being very focused and intentional about going after the value that the board would like to see in the boardroom. And so, it's bringing the right mix, the right value into the boardroom and improving the board so that you can maintain high levels of retention. I know Chris has shared on several occasions that this is a very key part of his membership strategy, membership retention and acquisition strategy. He makes it very clear that the members own the responsibility for identifying new board members and making referrals to bring the right value and the right mix into the room. One of the other ways that you can do this is through the targeted referral process, and that's identifying those in your business community that you would really like to connect with because you feel that they would be great board members or that they would bring the right value that you feel is missing on your current boards, or that as you're expanding and trying to add a board would be great cornerstone members for a new board. And so you create that list of people that you want to meet, and you make referral requests from that, including with your board members, to see if you can get connected with those people. And one of the outcomes I see from this targeted referral strategy that is very common is while your members or the others that you ask for these targeted referrals may not know the specific person, they know a person in the same industry that they're often very willing to give you a referral for. So not only are you working to meet the person on your list, but you're meeting people in the same industry and evaluating them as potential board members as well. So I'll pause really quick and just ask you to share, your experiences with how you go about engaging members in bringing value into the boardroom, or how you go about asking members to identify the people that they would like to see in the boardroom. Well, the silence either means you're not doing this or you're not sure what to say. So if you're not doing this, if you're not asking your members for referrals or who they would like to see in the boardroom, this should be a key part of your marketing tactic strategies. And you need to, here's a great opportunity for a PDCA, right? Develop a plan for how you're going to conduct a board meeting ask, begin to do it, evaluate the results, how many new referrals are you getting, and if you're not seeing the results you want, make adjustments and continue to move forward. Any final thoughts before I move on? Apologize for the goofy looking slide.
No, I just wanted to make sure you knew that we were listening.
Okay. All right, thank you. So we'll move forward. So next time we'll talk about the 90-day plan ask or referral testimonials. and how we can integrate that into our marketing mix. All right, we'll move on to one of my favorite sections of our meeting every week. I love this part. We'll do our round robin statements, and this week, kind of connecting back to the topic I presented on continuous improvement, we're going to answer or complete the following statement. What is one process that must improve in your tab business? What one key process in my business that must improve? And we will start with, we'll go in reverse order today. We'll start with Carlos. Carlos, what is one key process in your business that must improve?
I think, Ben, it's the process of, the first, 1, 2, 3 months onboarding of new members.
Okay. And is there, within that onboarding process for new members, is there a particular thing that's driving your recognition that there needs to be improvement there? Is there something that's happening that you see that's making you feel that it needs to improve?
Yes, I will say one of this is the context. It's building a much stronger context for the new member. And with context, I mean, how can I put that? When I say context, it's part of how this works. What's our responsibilities, mine, theirs? How is this thing going to be evolving? All the things that we don't say and we take for granted, but we need to be totally sure that they are there and that we are aligned. Me and the new member.
Yep, that's great. Thank you very much for clarifying.
Yeah.
Tanya, what is one key process in your business that must improve?
So, when you sent that email out, the very first thing that jumped to my mind was accountability. But accountability isn't a process. Accountability comes from processes. So, I think what I thought more of right now that my team and I need to do is we need to work on being very comfortable with the protocols that are there, so that when we're in the meetings, it's already integrated with who we are. We're not busy thinking, oh, what's the next thing I should ask, or what's the, we're so we can be totally focused on the other individual as opposed to caught up in our own internal conversation. So that's what we're going to work on.
Excellent. Mike, how about you?
Well, the process is marketing. The activity in that process is doing. So in the plan, do, check, adjust model, it's the doing part. I'm sucking major on my market. So that's the one key process I've got to do. I look forward to having all the problems that everybody has with boards and all that stuff. But it's exciting to look forward to that. But I do have to get my better.
Very good. Thanks for sharing that. Chris, what is one process? You sent me an email, but I'll let you share with the group. You might still be muted, Chris. Well, we'll come back. We'll come back.
To unmute, and he hung up. I've done this before.
Yeah, I think so.
Instead of hitting the unmute button, he hit the hang up button.
Exactly. Why don't you go, Valerie?
Believe it or not, the the process that I need to change, I can't believe it, is I think I need to change my calendar. I have a couple of clients, and it's like a mystery. They have iPhones, they have iPads, I'm on Mac, and they are not getting my calendar invite. And they've missed meetings as a result, or been confused or surprised about, because I usually, email the day before that I'll be seeing them for coaching or something. Anyway, I've been having trouble with the bloody calendar. So apparently the trick is to move to Google Calendars, which I've been resisting because it's just one more open tab on my already busy screen. But apparently that's what I need to do, and I hate change, so this is uncomfortable, and I have been resisting it. But I think I need to change calendar systems.
Very good. Well, you can make that improvement and measure the results and see if you're having fewer communication challenges with your members, and you'll know whether that was the right move. Very good. Thanks for sharing. Chris, are you back? Let me see if I can pull up Chris's and I'll share on his behalf. There it is. So Chris shared with me by email that one key process in his business that must improve is improving his contract facilitators involving his contract facilitators in marketing, branding, and recruiting. And I think by doing that, he will definitely have a better team approach, and especially with his event on the horizon, that'll be a great improvement opportunity. All right. And thanks for everybody for sharing. As you can see, we all have opportunities to get better all the time. And I think sometimes we don't feel like everybody else needs to improve. It's just us that always has things to work on. But the reality is we're all in process, and we're all working to get better every day. And if we come together and support each other in that, I think we'll have better success. And as Tanya referenced, when you identify those improvement opportunities, the next piece that really helps is accountability to make those changes and see them through to their complete conclusion, and to make sure that the improvement produced what you were looking for. So with our community, we're able to do that, and so I look forward to hearing how each of you improve, and we'll hear those success stories through the wins that we share each week. All right, believe it or not, we have lots of time today for open discussion. So is there anything on your minds today that you would like to discuss with your peers?
Hi, this is Tanya. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, because I'm in the car now, so I wasn't sure if that was working. I do have a question. So I am a CPA. I'm still doing my.
Oops.
And we lost her. Well, we'll wait to see if she comes back on. Is there anybody else who has a topic while we're waiting?
Yes, Ben, I was wondering if Laura is in the call.
She is not.
Oh, she's not. Yeah, I was curious and about what happened with what was the outcome of the meeting she had with his client. Do you remember our conversation from last week?
I do. So the update that I have from Laura is she had a discovery meeting that she was a little concerned with that actually moved forward to an RFA. So that was successful. And she had another meeting that, and I think this is what you're referring to, Carlos, with a member who was considering leaving because he didn't feel he was a good fit for the board. And I will tell you that she had that meeting yesterday, and I have not heard from her yet what the outcome of that, but I do know that that meeting took place yesterday.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yep, I'll let you know as soon as I'll have Laura let us know as soon as she gives me an update. Are you back, Tanya?
I was having a big old conversation with myself, apparently.
We lost you right after you said you were a CPA and still working in your CPA business.
And that was the end of it. Okay.
That-
So last week or the week before, somebody shared that that they were doing events. They were doing some kind of event with a CPA firm, and the CPA was talking about the Tax Act, and then I think they were doing something like a sample board afterwards. So I'm actually having a meeting with my business partner today, the partner in charge of my office, and about us doing this. And I didn't know if anybody had any recommendations about what that would look like, and I don't know. I was just looking for some feedback or thoughts on it, because even though I haven't been trying to keep my my tab life and my CPA life separate.
And she's gone. Well, we'll have a few thoughts, I hope, when she comes back. But so she's talking about, how does she get referrals back and forth between her CPA side and her tab side, and how can she work with her partners to make that more effective? Do any of you have any experience in partnering with a CPA firm as a strategic partner?
I'm actually kind of annoyed at my CPA firm that they are not stepping up to help me more. I asked them to sponsor a workshop recently, and it was, still maybe I think that was my February workshops, and they said they were just too busy. Without asking further, what does that mean? And of course I approached it very lightly. So I've sent them probably close to 20 clients. I send them a client a month, and they have given me nothing. Nothing.
Have you told them that?
I'm getting ready to. Yeah. I've gotta say something, because these guys owe me big time. I've sent them so many clients. It's like I have free taxes for life.
Yeah, and I think Tanya's situation is a little different because she's a partner in the CPA firm as well, so it might be a little more back and forth. But in my own experience, I have never received a single referral from an accounting firm, and I have, much like you, Valerie, have sent many referrals to those that I was working with in the past. And my insight, as I was talking with the managing partners of those firms, was that I don't know if this is prevalent across the CPA and accounting world, but they're just very reluctant to make a referral outside of their firm because it might negatively impact their relationship with their client. If that referred relationship doesn't go well, the client may, view that as a negative to the accounting firm and not want to continue, or might consider leaving the accounting firm. So that was consistently the feedback I received, but I, like you, Valerie, never really had much success with getting good referrals from CPA and accounting firms.
So I'm back, and it's probably, I can't even get my partners. They support me, my tab business, but they haven't referred anybody to me. So I wanted to propose doing a joint event. I'm trying to be really fast before I get lost again. And I just wanted any feedback about that before I'm meeting with my partner in charge today about it.
So you're meeting with your partner to discuss, I'm sorry.
doing some kind of an event, you know, a joint event where he would talk about the Tax Act.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Poor Tanya. Yeah. So yeah, doing an event where they're co-sponsored, so the CPA firm and her tab business co-sponsor. The CPA firm talks about taxes and tax strategy, and she talks about peer advisory boards and business.
So how big of a firm is it?
I don't know. It's a very successful firm. Let's just put it that way. But I don't know.
Are we talking 2, 20, 50 CPAs?
I don't know. I've not asked.
And is she a partner?
She is.
All right. Well,
And she focuses on exit planning and exit strategy kind of work with her CPA clients. That's her expertise area. Well, I can follow up with Tanya, but she's on her way now. It sounds like that's why she keeps dropping. But yeah, in my experience, CPA firms are really difficult to get referrals from, and I'm not sure, other than Valerie, what everybody else's experience has been in that realm. But the two groups that I've not had success with are CPAs and attorneys.
yeah, you're right. I don't think I've ever gotten a referral from an attorney, even though I've sent plenty.
Yeah. Hey, Tanya. The sad thing is I don't know that we have anything for you.
That's not true. Hey, I got plenty for you.
Go ahead, Valerie.
No, but okay. So, how big is your firm, Tanya?
I don't drop off again. Our firm is about 130 people, but my office is about 25.
Okay, and you're a partner,
I am.
and you're going to approach what is there like a managing partner?
Well, the partner in charge of our office. So my
Okay.
partners are be supportive
Okay.
of me. Yeah.
So, are you asking what resources are you asking for? Are you asking for time, money, space?
Both. Oh. Well, yeah, we would do it jointly as an event.
Okay, so they would provide the space, they would pay for the food, and they would also contribute their time to certain parts of the program.
Yes, or we would do it together.
Okay, and in exchange, you would do what?
Help with the marketing, and because we're really bad about that. So I have a much better database than we do as a firm.
Okay, so you would get the Acoles in the seats. You would get the people in the seats.
Yeah, mostly. Yes.
Okay, so you would get the people in the seats, and they would provide the space, they would provide the food, and they would provide one or two partner level CPAs to speak to the group.
Yes.
And in exchange, you will. Are you still there?
I think so.
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. So in exchange, they have this opportunity to reach business owners. But if you are pitching tab services, is there going to be a conflict of messages? Some people are going to be talking about exit planning within the firm, and some people are going to be talking about exit planning with tab boards.
No, I think we're going to be talking about the new Tax Act. Is what I thought. My on the Tax Act. So I thought oh, this is a perfect opportunity to leverage what he's already done with what, getting in front of our clients. So.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with tab? There's no tab hook on the workshop?
Yeah, I wanted to have tab at the end, but somebody a couple of weeks ago talked about a presentation that the CPA firm did a part on the Tax Act, and then tab did like a mini board.
Oh, that's interesting format. Okay. Okay, so it sounds like a no-brainer. If I were, the managing partner of a CPA firm, I'd be delighted if a partner came to me and said, look, I think we should do a workshop, and here's the format I'm suggesting, and I'll work on the marketing, getting people in the seats. All you have to do is buy some sandwiches and show up. For the most part, be delighted. The only thing is at the end, you're going to pitch tab, and that's your money outside of the firm, and that's the only complicating factor, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think at the end of the day, if the partner questions why the firm should be contributing to the business, the external business that you have running, you have to convince them that at the end of the day, it redounds to their benefit. That if you build up this tab business, you're going to be in touch with tens of dozens of business owners a month, all of whom are potential clients for the firm. And that this is going to be a way also, just regardless of getting their name out as a general business CPA firm, people who can talk English and who can work with small business owners. And is this not the reputation that they want to garner in their community? So not only would I pitch it to them, I would pitch it to them that you should set up like a quarterly rerun of these on a regular basis.
I like how you think. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Very good, Valerie.
The only issue is whether you're making money off of it separately, but tell them that the referrals that will come back as a result will far outweigh any personal gain that you get from it.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. And I think that that's a great strategy with any referral or strategic alliance partner that you're working with on an event, a sponsor of an event. Having that perspective and pitching it in that way so that everybody gets benefit from it, would really help you to gain some of those key sponsors for future events. And I do remember the idea of having a topical discussion then followed by a sample board, and I think that's also an effective format for doing those kinds of an event. Very good. Well, we're just a couple minutes past the hour, so I want to be respectful of your time. We'll go ahead and wrap up today's call. Thank you, everybody, for your participation in the call, your great comments and insights. It's been very beneficial for me and hopefully for you as well. Remember, there's a sprint call this afternoon starting at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. If you're able to participate in that, we'd love to have you. Otherwise, we'll talk to you all later this week or early next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.